Hey guys, it's me, SSJ Raikage, and today I'm bringing you guys part 2 of What If Deku Was a Firebender, so let's get right into it. So, Deku wakes up the next morning and he feels really happy. Today is the day of the UA entrance exams. Deku gears up, he does his push-ups that he does in the morning, he does his sit-ups, he does his crunches. Basically, he does his whole normal workout, a little bit of his quirk training. He walks out the door and he runs towards UA. This time Deku doesn't trip because he's just a lot more confident in this what if. He's not more brash or anything, he's just a lot more confident overall. And he's not really that clumsy, so he doesn't trip. So when he gets there, he sees Bakugo. He waves at Bakugo. He walks up to him and says hi. They do their secret little Deku Bakugo handshake, and they wish each other good luck. Like in part 1 of this what if, Bakugo is still a little bit jealous of Deku's quirk just because it's so much like Endeavor's quirk, and he knows the potential of Endeavor's quirk. So Bakugo is a little bit jealous, but they're still basically best friends, so Bakugo doesn't really say anything. So they sit through the rules just like they do in the original what if, but this time they sit next to each other, they talk through the whole thing. They kind of ignore the rules, whatever, but they listen in enough just so that they know basically the gist of what they have to do. So Deku and Bakugo line up on the starting line just like everyone else. President Mike counts down 3, 2, 1, go. Bakugo explodes off. And I know there's going to be someone who comments this. For this what if, Deku and Bakugo will be taking their tests in the same area. Thank you to whoever pointed it out in my what if Deku was an earthbender what if, but in this one they're just going to be taking it in the same place. Please just go with it. So Bakugo blasts off, and Deku tries to mimic this, but it doesn't really work. So Deku just decides to run with a little bit of fire boosting him. So he's using the fire to help boost his run. He encounters one robot, and he uses one of his super moves, his Fireball Barrage. He throws 3 fireballs straight at the the robot, and the robot instantly stops. It just overheated because of all the heat that it had just encountered. So let me just make one tiny retcon. Deku's fire isn't yet strong enough to melt through concrete. That would be a little bit OP. It's not that strong yet, but it's on its way there. It can still burn through trees and everything, but like, it's not that hot yet, so it can't really burn through concrete. So it didn't burn through the metal, but it did fry the entire circuitry of the robot and everything. So that robot's dead. So Deku leaps off of this robot, does one of his little acrobatic moves, and lands onto another robot. And when he lands onto the other robot, he uses this little kind of like mini fire torch or whatever, and burns a hole straight through the robot. Now, Deku was looking inside the robot just to see how his circuitry worked. He was just basically flexing on everyone. He was showing that he has enough time that he can just sit back, relax, and literally take his time to pick apart this robot. But basically, once Deku was done with that, he leaps back into action, takes out 5 more robots with ease just by throwing a few simple fireballs at them. And then Deku has an idea. He wants to push himself to his absolute limits. So you know what he's going to do? He's going to use his pure martial arts moves to take down the next robot that he sees. He runs up towards the next one and does a tornado kick right into its face. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what a tornado kick is, look it up. It's a basic taekwondo move. He kicks it in the face. It doesn't dent the robot or anything, but it pushes it back a little bit. And then Deku decides, you know what, I'm not going to break my arms or anything, so he just throws another fireball at its face, which melts it. Not melts it, but you guys know what I mean. Same thing what happened with the other robot. So that robot's down. and Deku was just taking down robots left and right. So was Bakugo as well. Those two were like dominating everyone else. They were taking all the robots down. Everyone was just looking on in shock as these two guys are just taking down all these robots. And right in the middle of Deku taking down one of the 5-point robots, he looks up, and just like everyone else, he sees this giant 0-point robot walking towards them, and it's toppling over this build. It's not really toppling over the building, but it's crumbling a little bit of the building, and he starts sprinting away from the robot. Then he hears this scream. He turns around and he sees that it's a girl, and he recognizes this girl. He saw this girl when he walked in. He ran right by her when he and Bakugo were doing their handshake. Now, Deku would feel really, really guilty if he didn't save her. And then he felt this overwhelming feeling of heroism. And he felt like this new fire in his soul. And he says, I will save this girl. If I don't save this girl, I will have no honor. So Deku runs towards the girl, who we later find out to be Uraraka. He lifts the rubble off of her. He moves her to a safe area, and then he runs towards the robot. Deku starts sprinting full throttle towards the robot, and he leaps up into the air. Taking a page out of Bakugo's book, Izuku decides to use some of his flames to help enhance his ascent up into the air. Now, he's not as experienced with this as Bakugo is, so obviously he's going to be a little bit wobbly in the air, but then he decides to take his own spin on this. So he decides to, instead of using his hands to firebend to get him up in the air, he decides to use his feet. So Izuku starts spewing fire out of his feet, and he starts flying up even higher and higher with more stability. So once Izuku gets about 4 or 5 stories up, what he does is he starts throwing just a barrage of fireballs at the robot. Once he feels like he's done enough damage to it, he uses one of his super moves called Flamethrower to just spew a huge amount of flame at the giant robot and just burn it. Now this starts to actually melt the metal, and pieces of hot metal start falling off of the robot, and it's pretty clear that Izuku has destroyed this robot. So Izuku realizes that he's falling and he can't really help his descent, so he uses 2 streams of fire to help propel him down towards the ground in a more controlled manner, similar to General Iroh in The Legend of Korra. So Izuku uses a plume of fire to cushion his fall, and he lands pretty easily. Izuku basically took out this entire robot. There is a line of melted metal moving down from the top of its leg down to the bottom of it, and the robot started to fall. Now everyone's just staring at Izuku. He had just taken out this robot that was literally the size of a building. Well, he didn't like destroy it, but I literally described to you what he just did. And so it's been a couple of days since this happened. Izuku is just waiting for his letter of acceptance from the school, and then one day he finally gets it. So he opens it up, and it's a hologram from All Might. And All Might basically tells him that he has the highest score out of anyone in his exam area. He got 90 villain points. That's just all on his own. And then he got 30 rescue points for saving that girl. So overall he had 140 points, which just blew everyone out of the water. Bakugo came in second place with this. He had 100, no, he didn't have 100 points. He had 80 villain points, and so Bakugo came in second place and Deku came in first place. So after this, Deku got really excited, and he knew that his first day of attending UA would be coming up pretty soon. And so we skip over to his first day at UA. He walks in the classroom. He sees Bakugo still arguing with Ida like in canon, but this time Bakugo actually listens to Ida. And then Eraserhead comes in and he tells everyone that it's time for a quirk assessment test. So he tells everyone to put on their uniforms, or not either the uniforms. Their their training uniforms, and they go out to the training area. Once they get out here, they start the exam. So we start off with the 50-meter dash. Tenya obviously got first place with 3.04 seconds. Bakugo got second place with 4.13 seconds, and he did this by using his explosions to help him run faster. Now, Izuku kind of did the same thing as the guy from Fire Force, where he used fire behind him to help him propel forward, and Deku got third place in this with 4.16 seconds. So here we move on to the long jump, and for this, both Bakugo and Deku clear the sandbox. Bakugo uses explosions to help him move forward like he did in canon, and Deku copied him and did the same, and he also cleared the sandbox. So now we're on to the grip strength test, and Deku did a little bit better than he did in canon just because his body's in better physical shape. So we got 60 kilograms instead of 56 like in the original story. Now we move on to the infamous ball throw. Everyone else gets the same stats, so Bakugo still gets 705.2 meters, and then Deku has an idea. So Deku's idea was to not just copy Bakugo by using fire to create an explosion to help the ball go farther. He also thought that he could use fire to boost his elbow, similar to Natsu Dragneel from Fairy Tail. So Deku comes up to the area, and he gets the ball in his hand, and then he uses a huge plume of fire to help boost his arm when he's throwing the ball. Obviously, this plume of fire isn't going to be as big as what Natsu did, but it's still a pretty sizable explosion that he did on the end of his elbow. So this launches his arm forward, and then once it's time to release the ball, Deku created a huge explosion which helped further launch the ball, and Deku got 707 meters, which is a little bit farther than Bakugo's. And overall, everyone got basically the same, but Deku got first place overall with Bakugo in second place, and everyone else in their same places. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Sorry if this was a little bit sloppy. I just wanted to get this video out because I know I hadn't posted on my channel in a while, and I wanted to get this out on Thanksgiving. Oh, and by the way, if you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving Day and a good celebration with your families. And yeah, but sorry again if this is sloppy to you guys. I just wanted to get this out because, again, it's a holiday, and I'm on break and I have a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. That's going to be the end of this video. Later.
組手は終わり。かかしの勝ちだね。